Well, speaking of corrections, we are correctly live.
Oh, what I thought you were going to say is we are correcting two blue hearts.
We could do that. You want to do a rewrite stream? I mean, I'm down. Down for whatever.
Well, let's just do everything. I figured I feel like we did rewrites, Daigo, and maybe something else. I feel like we haven't done a Boruto one, and for our standards anyway, forever.
True.
So
yeah,
I figured we could do Boruto rewrites and other Boruto topics.
Okay. So in that case,
about an hour-ish.
Let's do our due diligence. As much as you probably are going to hate this because we only have an hour, but we'll do the thing that we're supposed to do every time, but only do like 5% of the time, and do the comments first tab.
Yeah,
first.
we'll do one comments first. Maybe like let's just try to do a thing where we just do one each stream. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is if we do one each stream, we will fall behind.
Well, hey, that's already better than the 0 each stream we've been doing.
It's already like 300 behind or something ridiculous. Is there a way to check how many comments are in this? I don't know how.
If you can see how many messages have been sent, if they're all images, then just do the has image and see how many.
Okay, 219.
Okay, but have you been deleting them after we do them?
Yes.
Even the very beginning ones?
Yes. We are 219 behind in our comments first tab.
Right. If the first one takes a while, we'll do one each stream. If the first is quick, we'll do up to 3, depending on how fast.
Okay.
So let's make that a thing.
Well, this one seems pretty quick. So why didn't Kakashi recognize the Masked Man video? We got certain_B commented saying, not only his scent, imagine there was a C here.
Oh, that is
such
a good point.
But yeah, I know.
Kakashi's nose is better than Kiba's, right?
Oh, well, no, but that's what we were saying in this video. That I thought you were reading ahead.
Okay.
But I think this is even more of a point. But the Sharingan can see chakra as a color. Kakashi should have been able to notice that his eye and Obito's eye are the damn same chakra, Ella. He's got a good point.
Okay, yeah, especially given Ao's feet.
Exactly.
With Shizui's eye.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And even then, though, because Obito is Obito and not Danzo with Shizui's eye, I think all of Obito should be the Obito color.
I completely agree. It's ridiculous. Like, I can't believe Kishimoto wrote both of these things in. I'd have to double check and go back to see if Kakashi uses his Sharingan during this, but I'm pretty sure he
has
does.
his Sharingan out, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Like, unless he just, for whatever reason, happens to not look in the general direction of Obito, but that doesn't make sense because he sees Obito's Sharingans.
Maybe he wasn't using his Sharingan. Let me see, because this is during Itachi fight, so let's just try like 388.
I guess the only possibility I can imagine is maybe if Obito's using his intangibility at that moment, then Kakashi just sees like straight through him somehow or whatever.
But even okay. Mystery of Toby chapter. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's got his Sharingan out.
Okay, so
oh boy, no. All right, hold on. My God, no. Okay. You're gonna see this panel and say not only does this just emphasize probably Obito. I'm gonna post in chat. Not only is this emphasizing just Toby's Obito, but like there's no getting around the Kakashi Sharingan boy.
Was it Mangekyo? Is my guess. Oh yeah, no. Okay.
No. It just the emphasis on the speed lines on his eye, followed by Obito's. Like, yeah, they made eye contact.
I love that. That's so funny.
And he recognized that he had a Sharingan, so he saw it.
So if Kakashi just put 2 and 2 together, we could have just got the line in the war arc where he's talking to Obito and it's like, where did you get that eye from? Like right before the mask comes off. We could have got that 5 arcs earlier. Half of the story.
I mean, that would have been interesting, actually.
I agree.
Even without spoiling necessarily, you don't have to necessarily do the reveal. You could do for example, just a hypothetical. You have to love this, but as an example, Kakashi says, where like, he does the he cuts himself off, it's the pause, he's surprised. So where did you get that eye? And then Obito could say a line that's like vaguely true but not true. He could say like, oh, this eye, I got it from a boy who died a long time ago. So what is Obito? So Kakashi's perspective, he stole Obito's dead eye.
Yeah.
What Obito's saying is metaphorical. It's just like what they do in Star Wars when Obi-Wan says, your father died a long time ago to Luke, when he really means your father became Darth Vader. Obito would be saying, Obito died a long time ago. This is Madara, kind of so he'd be metaphorically speaking, whereas Kakashi's going to take it literal.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool way of doing that. And that would also, again, like, the scene would make you think it's Obito, but Obito would be basically misleading you. No, I'm really not Obito. I took it from a dead boy. That's Obito. But he's being metaphorical. That could be pretty cool.
And that gets rid of all of the, not all, but pretty much all the other complaints we have about this scene anyways. Obviously, the reason he didn't do that, outside of probably just not thinking about it, is he just didn't want to put that in the audience's mind this early on. Because even like in the war arc, when Kakashi says that line, where did you get that eye? It's still before the reveal. It's right before it, but it's still before it. But it's like trying to put it in the viewer's mind, hey, think about Obito. It's like slapping you in the face with it.
Whereas in this case, he doesn't want you to think Obito.
Yeah.
So I get it from that perspective. But I think it at least would be cooler if they did this, the little dialogue rewrite that I just said.
I agree. There's 3 different layers to this. There's the literal layer and the metaphorical layer, like you said. Then there's also the layer for the audience, for like those who either just aren't thinking Obito either way, and they're thinking like Danzo. Sasuke says, where'd you get all those eyes? Danzo just like, yeah, just random bodies in like a war or whatever. So it's like, for that layer, it's also like, it's not necessarily even saying Obito. It's just the viewers that on rewatch or are smart enough to remember Obito and put two together, that they might even like perceive of Obito, since he's not being directly mentioned here. It's just like implied. So
exactly.
Like 3 layers.
And like Kakashi's not gonna think Obito, he's just gonna sweat profusely, indicating that Kakashi might know who it is, but he's not gonna say it.
Exactly.
The audience will have to do the work on that.
Yeah, plus the fact that like Guy isn't here or anyone else from Kakashi's generation. Well, Yamato, but doesn't count. So,
well, we don't even know if Yamato met Obito, because Kakashi in the Anbu filler arc anyway doesn't meet Yamato until after Obito's quote-unquote died. So
yeah, exactly.
Good
so
chance he never met Obito.
Any chance? Well, how would there be any chance? Because I'm assuming that we would just take the filler for canon in this case.
The only chance would be if, for some random reason, Yamato went in the Anbu, walked by Obito and knew of his name, and so he's seen him before, like some ridiculous just coincidence like that. He went to the the dango shop with him, like
sure.
Like that.
I love it. Okay, was that short enough to do a second?
That'd be really cool.
I completely agree.
The alternative would be just delete or tweak the Sharingan sees chakra as a color thing to where it doesn't see the colors, but it just knows it's there somehow in a vague way, to where all chakra looks the same, and that's something so that Sasuke can still do his Datara thing, but nothing more, because that's really the only time that's used. And the alternative would also be, maybe instead of Sasuke seeing the chakra and being like, oh yeah, the Sharingan this, the Sharingan that, he could just be smart and say, I suspected there is something more to it, so I did this. You could have him be smarter too. You could also just delete it,
Yeah.
Because that's the only time it's used.
Playing off of that, I think the easiest way is just to delete the as a color thing, and the Sharingan can just see chakra, whereas the naked eye has a much difficult time with that, as we saw with the Zabuza Kakashi interaction in the first place.
It's able to see it. Regardless of its density, it'll just know that chakra is there. That's not going to affect Obito's transparency guy feat. It wouldn't affect Sasuke's C4. It makes sense for the Sharingan to Dojutsu to have some chakra visibility, but also the other thing is also, I think this also just makes the Byakugan balance a little bit better, because whereas, yes, the Sharingan can't see the chakra network like the Byakugan, it still feels like it's getting too good of a package deal out of this, whereas I think maybe it can do the bare bones minimum of chakra visually, and mostly it's other things. And the Byakugan can have the seeing things part,
Yeah. So, okay, something that would
Sasuke shouldn't be able to see C4 in the slightest, other than, like, he just knows there is chakra.
So, I don't know if this would be too on the nose, or stupid, or dumb, or obvious, or cool, or all of the above, but, like, also another possibility for this scene is, like, instead of being cut off, maybe at some point, like, Kakashi sees the Sharingan, he's like, Hinata, can you check him out for me? And Hinata's like, it's no one we've ever met before, because it's the thing of, like, Hinata's checking him out anyways, and obviously she never met Obito. But, like, then...
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't answer Kakashi's question. It just tells him that it's no one they've met before, as far as Hinata.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could just have Hinata say it without Kakashi asking, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, in a way, could put Kakashi... Even though it doesn't mean it's not Obito, because only Kakashi would have met him,
exactly.
It can slightly make him copingly think, okay, it's probably not Obito, just because, Hinata wouldn't have met him. It might just subtly influence him to further be like, it can't be Obito, even though it doesn't necessarily mean that. It might just help him think that anyway. I could see that making sense.
Completely agree.
Just real life person perspective, I feel like people would do that. Even though there's no logic behind that, I feel like they just would. Like, Kakashi would hear that and think, less chance of it being Obito, even though it has no bearing. I feel like that would happen, which I think could work well, so.
Okay. So, random side note, I understand the shading isn't absolutely perfect, but it's like 99% perfect, but like, there's a pretty obvious smudge just here randomly. It's like a fourth Tomoe?
Wait, is that in this manga, or is that from the coloring people?
Hey, that's a good question. They probably left that alone if I were to guess, but who knows. Also, I wanted to point out,
I don't know.
Thorn Soul's canon. It's in the manga.
Yeah.
Love to see
Setsu's face there also looks pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I will say, as much as I love Sarada being able to see the virus for the sake of the Boro fight in the manga version, I'm just going to be honest, especially in light of this conversation. Sarada should not be able to see the fucking virus with her Sharingan. That is way too Byakugan level. I'm sorry. I'm hard-pressed to believe she can't see chakra points at that point. That is ridiculous. The Byakugan should have been there, or you could just do what the anime did, and Mitsuki's just intelligently figures it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarada has her core movement Chidori moment anyway.
And just she's promoted a team captain here. Moment. So she's got two things.
Like, she doesn't need the... I mean, like, in the manga, Mitsuki thinks it's a virus anyway. Sarada just confirms it for him. But, like, let's just have Mitsuki take that entirely. And then Sarada has her separate moment entirely. Let's not make the Sharingan... Like we're making the meme, the Byakugan's useless. Too ridiculous in the manga. Look, by the way, guys, Kodachi wrote that. We're not saying Kodachi's never done something questionable. It's happened. But comparatively to the two blue vortex problems, it's the hardly problem.
Even then, is it even like the worst thing in the world, considering Kishimoto's already done it with the Sasuke Deidara thing? It's practically the same thing.
Exactly. You could even argue from Kodachi's perspective, that's the best thing you could do.
Yeah.
And also, the Byakugan's not even... Borushiki's not even using his Byakugan, so it's not like they're using the Byakugan anyways. So at that point, yeah, screw it, but... We're more so speaking from all of Naruto and all of Boruto perspective of making the Sharingan Byakugan a little bit more balanced. Maybe don't give them the freaking microscopic virus seeing vision.
In fact, I think it's best to have everyone get a moment to shine in that fight. Sarada does the core thing, Mitsuki does the virus thing, Borushiki. Kawaki, you can argue it's freeing Naruto, or maybe using the Karma Seal to amp Boruto's Rasengan or something. But
yeah, that one was kind of tricky on what... I mean... This is not a worthwhile moment to say is Kawaki's moment, but I really liked the scene of when he just like blitzes Boro, puts his hand on him and says, die, and he blasts him like in half. That was really cool.
I don't know if this would count for you as a quote-unquote moment, but it's before the fight, but it's right before the fight, going into the fight, is him like undoing Shikamaru's shadow possession and summoning the portal for everyone to teleport there.
Yeah, I mean...
It is a Kawaki moment. undeniably.
It is a Kawaki moment. You could argue that that's the start and that is his moment. You could do that, but it's not the Boru fight. So it's, I mean, I'm willing to count it because that's such a good scene. That whole chapter, I love that. It's so good, and nothing happens in that chapter. It's just character. It's all character stuff. But it was so good. Yeah. I'd be willing to count it, but I do think you should get a moment in the fight. Now you could say him telling Sarah about the core. I'm not going to count that.
I think you could do is
you could just do like a slight extra emphasis, like on the freeing Naruto moment. Maybe he does it by himself instead of with Boruto or something else. So you just do it something to really emphasize his role. Because I agree, like Sarah has the core, Mitsuki the virus, Boruto is Borushiki. Kawaki can have a little bit more of something for the fight itself. And I think freeing Naruto is thematically the best thing anyway. Because that, first of all, that just correlates to the chapter 39 thing anyway. It's the thing Kawaki's there to do. It's the aspect of his character in this arc, aside from the Ishiki confrontation aspect. It should be the freeing Naruto, which they're doing a lot with that in the fight. The only difference would be if you just want to. He takes the lead with freeing Naruto, so having Boruto help doesn't really matter. But if you wanted to, you could have him do it on his own, or somehow highlight the Kawaki specific emphasis on why. Maybe, like, for example, actually, here's an example. Because it's Jigen's pod anyway, only Kawaki can do it.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, like that can get to like resonance stuff as well, to do a little bit more explanation there.
And he's got the what he does when you do the space-time jutsu with the karma, it makes the hand symbol. So like he gets the Ishiki symbol. You could even write it to where he has to sprout the horn in order to do it if you want. You can do a couple of small things, but just have it be to where he can only do it. And maybe it's like it doesn't have to be a begrudging moment of him doing it in terms of the using Ishiki power whatever thing, because that's kind of the code arc in a way. So you don't have to do that.
Well, but remember, in this arc, the whole point is that he hates the karma seal, whereas later on, he realizes it's not the karma he hates, it's the Otsutsuki. So he would begrudgingly use the karma seal here to emphasize, to show to the audience, he really hates using the karma.
Yeah, but my only concern there is that's almost feels like he's overcoming it by doing it, for one. Two, he has no problem using it in the rest of the Boruto fight. It's
random. Not just the Boruto fight, he's like training Boruto by activating it.
I think what you could maybe do is because they're doing the Ishiki symbol on the hand in that moment, something you could do is that he essentially, when he does that, and also maybe when the horn comes out too, I think this can work because that's when Borushiki comes out as well. It can be a thing to where he can just feel Jigen, like he can feel his presence when he does it, and it's like suffocate. You know, like when he doesn't have to hyperventilate like in the Ishiki countdown moment or when he sees Ino's vase. He doesn't have to go that extreme, but it can be a thing to where when he does it, he notices it when he teleports to the other dimension. It's a small thing just demonstrating it. He basically can feel, or maybe he knows it for the first time here, I don't care. He basically can just feel as it feels like Jigen's watching him, or it feels like Jigen's choking him, or metaphorically at least. Like he just feels like Jigen's latched onto him when he does that, because he's going to be using more of the chakra anyway. So it can be a thing to where it's like nauseating, it's making him tense. It does something very uncomfortable for him, but obviously he's going to power through it to save Naruto. This works with everything else he's going to do in the rest of the story anyway. That's something he would do.
I know the perfect thing.
I think that might be the best approach.
Yeah, I know the perfect thing. Just have him have another random PTSD freakout moment when he activates the karma seal, like puts his hand on the pot. Just like he did in Ino's flower shop. Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. Like, it doesn't have to be quite as extreme as the other one, but just at least a subtle one, like a noticeable panel of his expression of discomfort, maybe a thought bubble about it, maybe not, maybe it's just whatever you wanted. Maybe he does, like, for example, with the ramen pot, not the ramen, sorry, the vase, he, like, there's the panel of Jigen in the Jigen's face in the liquid or whatever, and then he breaks the vase. You don't have to do the break the vase part, but you could do a Jigen face panel, and that like you have the startle panel where he like hesitates, and maybe you see his fist clench really hard, and then he powers through and then does it. Something like that. That general idea, anyway.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, was Sarada in the flower shop and saw the Kawaki Naruto moment? I believe she was. Yeah, she was there. I think she was still there. Yeah, she was. She was definitely there. She was definitely there. She was definitely there. So you could have it be. You could have it be where either Sarada or Boruto wasn't there to witness it. Boruto views Kawaki as a brother. Seeing that Naruto's passed out and unable to do anything for Kawaki, and or not there yet if he hasn't brought Naruto back out yet, you could have a moment like at the very end of the Ishiki arc to where Boruto's just like looking at him and is like, "You're my bro," and just have a moment where either Sarada does something or Boruto.
Okay. I'll make an argument for all three members of the team.
Mitsuki's ridiculous, but okay.
I know. He's the most ridiculous, but in a way also can work the best. So
okay.
For Sarada, in chapter 39, she has the conversation about Naruto with Kawaki. It would make sense for her to follow up on it. Point against her, though. She just had that moment 3 chapters ago. Do we really need to repeat it?
Well, but I feel like this would almost be like payoff for it, though, because especially with her not only seeing the flower pot moment with Naruto and Kawaki, but she's the one telling Kawaki about Naruto and him being Hokage and how great he is and that she wants to be like him in the future, etc., etc. This could be like one of those steps towards it.
I also think it also would work well because Kawaki is the one who comes to Sarada to tell her about the core, and then she has her moment after that. So I think in a way this can almost be like a Kawaki Sarada Naruto relationship thing that they're doing that could work really. I think Sarada's probably the best, but I'm gonna make the arguments for everyone. So for Boruto, obviously in this half of the arc, Sarada already got her moment there. They're gonna do the Boruto bro thing in chapter 54, so this could just be further building up to the moment where Kawaki's gonna set himself on fire for Boruto because Boruto just comforted Kawaki, a day earlier. This is almost like returning the favor in a way. So that can work. Plus, it's right before he sees Borushiki. So that's just going to help that he loves his brother, hates that Otsutsuki thing. So that can work really well.
Especially he's going to associate the two a lot closer if he just has more moments where Boruto's being bro and then Momoshiki.
Exactly. He's going to have double back-to-back bro things going on. So
it's kind of like Naruto hearing Sasuke say, "'Cause you're my best friend," then try and kill him, and Naruto doesn't know what to make of that.
It's a similar. It's not exactly the same, obviously, but it's like that similar feeling of like, which is it? Is this my bro? Or is this a demon?
Definitely helps going into the time skip at the end of part 1.
Yeah. Now for Mitsuki, the main argument for him would be, well, Sarada just had a moment. She's had a previous moment, technically. Boruto has had moments before. He's going to have moments after. What as Mitsuki had with Kawaki, he hasn't had... Honestly, he really hasn't ever had a moment with actual moment with Kawaki. This could be a chance to just give him one. Especially... No, I'm going to give a pro and con here. We know that Mitsuki gets very pissed off when he finds out that Kawaki tried to kill Boruto. In chapter 69, it's like, if someone were to do that, I don't know what I would do. Then he finds out, goes and states when he's pissed, right? So a pro for not doing it could be it makes it easier for Mitsuki to get mad because he never got close to Kawaki. But a pro for doing it would be it's going to hit that much harder of a betrayal if Mitsuki and Kawaki have a bond moment as friends. So it's like, it's not just you betrayed my son, it's my friend betrayed my son. And obviously they're on 7, they're friends. But it doesn't feel like they're friends because especially
Mitsuki doesn't care.
Mitsuki and Kawaki's personalities, especially when you consider the anime when Mitsuki's goofily following Kawaki around just out of curiosity and Kawaki's being like, "Oh, why are you following me?" Like, given their personalities, they're quote unquote friends, but they're not friends. If you give them a moment like this, then you're gonna believe, okay, they actually are friends. So then when that betrayal happens, it really pisses Mitsuki off. So I think that could strengthen it. So again, he's realistically the worst in the moment. But overall, it could be good to give him the moment he never got, kind of thing. So then you have to just balance out
what do you think's best? Because they all work well. It ups
Yeah.
Mitsuki if you do him. It's gonna up the Boruto thing if you do him. It's gonna up the Sarada relationship if you do him. The most important one, realistically, is the Boruto relationship. So that's probably the right one to pick. But they would all be really good. Sarada's gonna see Kawaki try to kill her later on too, so that's also gonna hit hard for her, having that we were literally close and now you're killing me thing. They all work. I almost want to say find a way to do all of them in this moment, but then you're just doing the team, so I don't really know.
I think you could do all of them because
here and then do a different moment for Mitsuki and Sarada separate.
First of all, I think that looking at, okay, so I'm going to work my way backwards here. Looking at the code arc, I feel like you could have also done the same thing there to where, yeah, Naruto's going to lag behind because he doesn't believe Boruto at first, as stupid as it is, but whatever. But like, Mitsuki and Sarada are somehow going to find out or hear about it from Boruto, or he's going to call them on a cell phone on the way over to the fight, and they're just going to rush over. So it's going to be Team 7 versus Code, as opposed to just Boruto versus Code. I just like that way better in general, because we're having like the Boro thing, but 2.0, with considering Code's stronger than Boro
I kind of
anyways.
like that idea from the Boro parallel aspect, plus Code's so then it's going to be a tougher battle anyway.
Exactly.
Just because as it is, Mitsuki Sarada has yet to see Borushiki. So the question is whether this hard to say without knowing what they want to do in Two Blue Vortex when Ichian never see. If they think worthwhile,
You're kind of cutting out.
But if they don't actually do anything to win any different from, like, if it's like in chapter 1, Sarada talks to Ada in a way that should have been 3 years ago, and it doesn't really matter when you do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If they do that, then just move it to the code arc. Why the hell not? If they don't, if they do something special, then I get it. The other issue would be, well, they're gonna have seen Kawaki try to kill Boruto, unless they have to retreat for some reason.
That's a good point. Okay, if we're throwing Sarada in the code arc, I feel like Sumire should also, for whatever reason, be there as well. And Ada, obviously watching that on her Senrigan, is just gonna see Sarada and Sumire earlier in this case. Give us more reason to speculate.
It also gives them more reason for her to be interested in them as friends too, I guess. There.
Yeah. So
to avoid them seeing Kawaki try to kill Boruto, because that's kind of like a thing they're not supposed to know yet.
I know. So first of all, that doesn't really play anywhere. The only thing you have there is Mitsuki's rage moment in like the end of part 1, but like besides that, it's not like Sarada does anything crazy with that information when she learns it or whatever. So it's like there's no reason to hold it off. But if you want to hold it off, you can just have Mitsuki and Sarada be passed out by that time.
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. They just have them get knocked out.
Yeah, especially you have like
Borushiki.
just have Sage Mode Mitsuki versus Borushiki at that point. Might as well be cool.
Well, you could do it early, or you could have like another alternative is when Boruto has the heart attack. Borushiki just immediately comes out. You could do it to where it doesn't immediately happen. So Sage Mitsuki fights Code after True Essence Boruto loses, essentially. Then Sage Mitsuki fights him, and then he has to save him basically. This time around, Borushiki doesn't do it yet, and then they fight for a bit. Maybe it's a stalemate, and then Borushiki comes out and just is a menace basically. Then Mitsuki has to back away.
Okay, I like that.
Gets off guarded by Borushiki, maybe. Something like that.
And that works going into, first of all, if we don't have Mitsuki go Sage Mode in the Boro fight, well, after the Boro fight, Mitsuki and Sarada have that conversation about becoming stronger or whatever. Going into the code arc, it would just make sense for him to have Sage Mode for whatever explanation you want to give him. Whether it still hurts him or not, it would make sense. As well as the fact that if we're going with the idea that rather than Sarada, Mitsuki was the one promoted to team captain, it would make sense for him to want to take the responsibility as captain to use Sage Mode in the code arc. But even like going back to the Boro fight, at the end of it, maybe Boruto and Sarada try and reach Kawaki when he's like undoing Naruto, but they just can't do it. And so Mitsuki, as team captain, has to be the one to do it. Maybe he even uses Sage Mode in that moment for the first time to reach Kawaki, after he's already blown away Boruto and Sarada.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to implement them there. And then it also probably just helped the people who feel like they just weren't used as much as they should be in part one.
Yeah.
Because other than the Boru fight, what do they really get? They get a little bit in the out art, but not really. So
I mean, that especially works
I
with
think-
our into part one rewrite with Sage Mode Mitsuki as well.
exactly. And I like the idea of having that be. You could do it as a rematch of Borushiki, or it could be the first time he fights him.
It
Either
doesn't
way,
have to be
really,
his
but-
full Sage Mode. You can save his full Sage Mode until the end of part one if you wanted to do that way. I feel like that could
True,
also
actually,
work.
that's a good point because I mean the manga's never done it, but the anime does do the separate
the anime.
things. So
Yeah.
that could work.
Okay.
It could even be a thing to where he kind of upgrades it.
So I had 2 more Boro rewrites for how you could do it. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to remember them as I'm talking. So
Write a bullet point for each. Just write the bullet point for both so that you can at least remember the premise of the second.
oh well, no, this was from like 10 minutes ago when I originally thought of the 2 that I haven't got to say. So it's the question of will I be able to remember them as I'm talking right now. Okay. The first one was you could just have Mitsuki fight Borushiki in the Boro fight or after the Boro fight, or you could have Kawaki fight Borushiki around that same time, and that could be Mitsuki or Kawaki's moment there. In particular, Kawaki I think could work really well. If you have like Karma Kawaki versus Borushiki at his first appearance, it could be like a weaker form of Borushiki, again, since it's his first appearance. Maybe this is before he absorbs Naruto's chakra and fights Boro or whatever. You could also have a moment to where Kawaki's moment here could be after Sarada takes out the core, Boro doesn't instantly transform. He just loses his ability to heal and he stops relying on it. So he actually fights Team 7 almost like powered up in a way now. He just can't heal. So they're going to fight him again, but this time it's going to be like a long drawn out battle of whatever you want to do there. But at the end, Kawaki's just going to use his Karma Seal and blow Boro up in the same way he did Garo and like he does Code later. In this case, that's going to be when Boro transforms. And that could be Kawaki's moment.
The question is how, if he blows, I don't know. Would we just write it in a way that it makes sense in terms of the transformation timing thing? In a way that just makes, you could do that sort of thing. Because that does just extend the Boro thing a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even need to extend it because it's already 3 freaking chapters. You could make it a 4th chapter, or you could just like condense those 3 chapters to squeeze this in.
Yeah, because I think some of the regen virus parts don't need to be quite as long as they were anyway. So I think you could just shorten the other part a little bit to add this chapter.
And at the very least, you could just like shrink the panels. So there's some wasted space somewhere.
Yeah, the other thing you could do is, looking at it from this perspective of why this could work. So Boro, as it is, what they're showing is he wasn't trying, he's over relying on his ninja attack, he's goofing off, blah, blah, blah. Then the moment he gets pissed, he just dominates everyone. The show basically, okay, he actually was strong. This could just add on to that to where they're going to fight him mad, but not blown up yet. It'll be even harder, but then they pulled it off, basically.
Well, actually, that's a good point. You could just have it. You can just easily have the explanation be that Boro didn't try because he didn't need to try because he had the core, so he was just playing around with Team 7. Now that they've taken his core, he's serious and he's upset. He's angry.
Yeah, and then this could be where, depending on the order you want to do things, you could do Mitsuki use the Sage Mode here.
Yeah.
To where he was basically waiting as long as... Basically, now it's like they've blown up the core. Sarada's basically out of the fight. She's used up her chakra. Kawaki can just kind of get... Kawaki and Boruto can kind of beat up. Not necessarily knocked out yet, so that it's all resting on Mitsuki. And then hint Sage Mode, he beats him. Boro gets pissed. And then blows up like a balloon. And I think Mitsuki gets slammed. He doesn't get knocked out, but he gets like slammed down. He might get briefly knocked out. He can just do that. We'll just have it not be Mitsuki, just like the up mode.
Yeah, we can have that be base Mitsuki. After the fight, he would just untransform. Or even, you don't even have to have Boro slam him. Just have him pass out because he used Sage Mode. There you go. Easy.
Oh yeah, beat him, and then Boruto transforms, and then Mitsuki passes out basically at the same time, and then Boruto starts just punching the shit out of Boruto. And then Borishiki comes out.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, you could just do.
That's easy. Yeah,
that's an easy way to just show Kara.
Man, you are cutting out bad. You were doing so good
basically,
too.
It can basically just emphasize or even more introductory to Sage Mitsuki, essentially, for the manga, and make that part of the fight scarier, and give us more moments with the characters we like, and make the Borishiki more necessary.
Plus, waiting until that moment only makes sense as the explanation for why he was waiting on Sage Mode for this fight. If he used Sage Mode early, he's just going to pass out, and Boruto can just regen. And if he doesn't know where the core is, then it doesn't matter if he destroys Boruto 10 times over if he can just regen. Especially if he doesn't know how the core works or how he regens. So now that he knows he can't regen anymore, now he goes for the Sage Mode, now that he's going all out.
That's a good explanation. I love that. Now I'm going to run a blender real quick, which I don't think will pick up because of noise suppression, but if it does, well, you'll know what that noise is.
Okay, well, I guess while you're doing that, we can go to the next Boruto topic.
Sure, I'll even mute it for a second, so you just talk for a minute.
So, hopefully you'll be able to hear this, but looking at Boruto topics, I guess I'll go to one of mine. So, here's that's one of yours. These are all yours. Okay, I remember that. That was that day. Okay, I guess let's do this one. Okay, so Kamui, hopefully you can hear this, but let me also just check stream, by the way. Hello, CB. Borishiki will still Hanabi's eyes and get the Tensei gone. I mean, it's possible. Hopefully that we can have more than just Hanabi's eyes be important, but based on Toneri,
the dumbest thing is, so that's how they're going to implement Hanabi for the first time.
So stupid. I love it. Okay, but now that you're back and just checking stream, making sure it's good.
I feel like we've done.
Okay, yeah, so stream's good. Yeah, okay. So, let's say Ada uses her Senrigan to watch the past and Mamushi can see it. Could he change things in the past? Let's say Ada specifically somehow relays info to him from the present, which would be Mamushi's future and Ada's past, making him a singularity of fate. So, thoughts on that immediately?
I mean, I think it would be. I mean, you already know. I think it would be cool to do any sort of thing like that.
Definitely do.
In fact, I think I commented on it, like just taking it a step further in like two different places.
Yeah. Okay.
Because obviously, I support.
The second half of this is now. Let's say that Mamushi can change the past. So whether he can or can't, we're just gonna say for now that he can. So what happens to the things that are changed in the present? Like, let's say that Mamushi just kills Boruto in the past in the new timeline. So Mamushi's present, Ada's past, Boruto's past. But Ada is in the old one. So, like, does their timeline get, quote-unquote, snuffed out, like Koji loves to say about all those 10 direction timelines? Or does Boruto just cease to exist? Or like does he fade out of existence? Does the universe fade to blackness or what has? I don't know. Or is it just creating a new timeline and branching off from the one they are currently on, so nothing changes for them? In which case, that last one's almost like Dragon Ball, how that timeline shenanigans work with its time travel. But yeah. But what do you think?
Go down and grab my phone. See what I commented.
Okay. Well, you definitely did comment on it. So.
Yeah, let me see what I wrote. I need to heat up my burger in a sec too. Okay, let's see.
Right here.
We're.
Oh wait, was this it? Wait, yeah, okay, it was this one. I think. I just deleted the original message. So this is 7:21 at 10:02 p.m.
Well, I have. Oh, maybe it's the one that says rewrite if no one ever gets the Shinjutsu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you also have the one above that, but that's for a different one.
That was for a different one. Which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So rewrite if no one ever gets the Shinjutsu. Koji can change the future via sensing the future, or via seeing the future, knowing what happens and telling people things in order to change it. So what if someone can see the past, then alter the past? Essentially the inverse of what Koji can do. So that's technically probably a stronger ability, but it would have the same like unknown factor that Koji's 10 Directions has. It's just, it would basically be equivalent. It's seeing the possible futures and trying to guide it. It would be knowing the past and trying to change it. I feel like it would be equally as useful. So I said, I know Ada can see the past, she's seeing the future, but as the way it's written, seeing the future is way more beneficial than seeing the past and present. Let's be real. Because Koji can change the future, whereas Ada can't change anything with her knowledge. So why not have a sort of time past too? And then I just made up a name instead of the 10 Directions. It's the 10 Origins.
So we've already talked about this in the past, but so just a easy rewrite we could do is Koji just doesn't have 10 Directions. He just doesn't have the Shinjutsu. So what do? Well, we could just give it to a different character. In this case, let's just give it to Damon, and we'll just have Ada's Senrigan be the 10 Origins thing. So Damon has 10 Directions, he can see the future. Ada, 10 Origins, she can see the past through the Senrigan or whatever. I like that the most. The brother-sister dynamic.
Make them seem more godly.
Yeah, also the fact that Damon would be like looking forwards to things that are going to happen as well. Like he'd be excited for the code fight.
Damon's just not going to help.
Yeah, I know. I mean, to an extent, you could have him help through Ada wanting him to help. I mean, it's a little bit of a rewrite for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, but look at the end of part 1. Ada feels sorry for Boruto because of what she and Kawaki did. Ada is willing to help him out in some instances. Let's just have this be one of those instances.
You could just do it that way. Yeah.
I mean, he has flying Raijin anyways. You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, Damon would just be chilling because he likes the way the future goes, so he just doesn't interfere unless Ada asks. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. Like, he's not stopping Jura. He wants Jura to get stronger, not weaker.
Exactly. And then again, Koji can still have his same role, just minus 10 Directions, to where he just is trying to take out the Shinju or whatever. The Kara, he's the Otsuki made to kill Otsuki. He's not Otsuki. I'm still Kawaki's thing. You can... He was made to kill Otsuki. That at least is true.
Yeah. I think there's things you could do in that sense, but...
Yeah. Okay. Did we want to do the above topic?
You might as well, yeah.
Sure. Okay. I deleted that response, by the way. Okay, so, Kamui, can we address the elephant in the room? Before I go any further, do you want to guess what that elephant is? Which elephant is it? Which room am I referring to?
Well, considering I'm looking at it, it's that she not only has Damon, but she's got a bigger elephant, Koji.
Yes. Well, the other way around, but yeah. So Ada not only has Damon, which already is too much. Ada has Koji. Actually, no, it wasn't the other way around. It was this way. So as long as Koji is alive, I can't see a Shinju devouring their target. Koji sees all possible futures, and regardless of if he has true intentions beyond that or what they may be, he seems to be working towards what he says, at least for now. Ada is not going to be devoured. Koji didn't indicate as if it was guaranteed, like the couple other things he said, you know, with like Boruto's gonna die against Europe, blah, blah, blah. And like absent of a singularity of fate just changing things, which shouldn't really matter unless Koji blabs about stuff to change. Anyways, Koji just should be able to foresee his way out of this, especially with this toad on Ada, which probably has a pendant, by the way, so Boruto could just flying right in there. So, ignoring Damon, as well as Ada potentially in her true strength, ignoring Damon, we also just have Boruto, unlimited Kawaki, Mangekyo Sharingan Sarada. I purposefully left off Sage Mode Mitsuki just as everyone else, and I'm so sad that I have to designate others to etc. now, by the way. Yeah, they're all headed back to the leaf. Even Konohamaru, who scaled to Hidari that one time. But yeah, Mamushi is screwed. So he would have to wait until everyone leaves to even get to Damon, let alone everyone else. But Koji knows when he will show up, just like Code in Chapter 1. What can Mamushi possibly do? It doesn't even seem like Mamushi can see Koji watching him in the future to change things either, as cool and Attack on Titan-y as that would be. So maybe Hidari and Jura invading at the same time can distract some of the people? Like Hidari for Sarada, sure, and I guess Jura for Boruto and Kawaki, I guess. But then, even then, wouldn't Mitsuki still be around? I feel like that's all you really need. So maybe Shikamaru's still on his Danzo Tobirama energy and wants Ada dead, like he did in part 1, randomly, as ridiculous as that was. But what could all the Shinju or whatever do now, absent of Koji secretly wanting her dead? Like, even Amado is something Koji should be able to foresee. So
yeah, so first I'll say the funny thing I wrote.
Uh-huh.
You're right, Mamushi can see Koji's interactions just like the Senryugan.
yeah.
To help with that. But so a couple of things. First, my concern is that they're just gonna being that strong after, like, rest on it.
But
That's
even
my
then,
fear.
So even if they do that, though, you agree with me, Ada will not be consumed for all of these reasons.
And she shouldn't be, obviously. But my fear is that for some reason they're gonna write it to where Boruto can't be there, or they're just all not there, and it's just Damon, and he's just weak, and then
So
just a concern because
Koji
otherwise,
sees
like,
it.
what are they? So it's a little bit of a fear that they might do that.
I
That
understand.
said,
If they do, then Koji has to have ulterior intentions. He wants Ada dead.
Yeah,
But he doesn't seem like he does.
There's very easy ways to write it. The simplest one is Mamushi just is that guy. It's not that Damon's weak, it's none of that. Mamushi just is like borderline Jura level, and he's stronger than all the others combined to where Damon has to be the one to fight because everyone else gets in the way. And then like it's the fight of Damon's life. Mamushi just is God tier, and he's gonna devour Ada, and then he's just gonna be Jura level or stronger, and Jura's gonna get stronger. Okay, that's one option. Option 2, Jura invades, and this one is this is a fine line to walk with Damon's character. But if Damon hears before this whole situation about how Kawaki got his limiters off and Boruto fought Jura, that together they're still too weak to fight Jura, he hears that and wants to fight him. And in this case, both Jura will show up to devour Himawari, and Mamushi goes after Ada at the same time. And Damon would have to make the conscious choice to not fight Mamushi, but to fight Jura out of his own interest. And it's either going to be a thing to where Ada's saying, this is what I was worried about with Damon, he's going to choose his fights over protecting me. Or it'll be a thing to where Damon just assumes everyone else can handle Mamushi, and he's just wrong. But basically, he would choose to leave to fight Jura out of interest instead of killing Mamushi. Of course, he could just do that first, but like, you could go that route. Those are the only ways to do it without making Damon weak that I can think of.
I mean, let's remember.
Or you just write a reason why he's not there. Maybe Jura invades first, and for whatever reason, Ada doesn't tell Damon that Mamushi's on the way beforehand. So he goes to fight Jura, and then Mamushi shows up because Damon left. I guess that's the other way of doing it.
Let's remember how strong Mamushi should be. Boruto knew as soon as he saw Mamushi that he was on a time limit. The other Shinji were probably born and on their way any second now. Maybe Boruto thinks he could defeat Mamushi on his own in time. Maybe, but either way, he hadn't seen Hidari yet. As far as he knows, Hidari isn't going to show up. He hasn't gotten emotional because he's seen Hidari yet. He's just trying to kill Mamushi. He offers Code to team up to kill Mamushi. So that tells me Mamushi cannot be like Jura plus level to where Boruto is confident that he and Code would be able to defeat Mamushi pretty handedly, like in a timely manner. So Mamushi, unless he's just been like training his mind as he sat down the past 20 chapters, I don't see why Mamushi would be so much stronger now. The only way I can see them writing themselves out of this situation, barring ridiculousness or things that we just can't possibly know, is I think that Mamushi's just going to be defeated, and then he's just gonna pull a Code where he's gonna like sneakily like somehow bring Ada through the claw mark into the other dimension as he's like on death's doorstep, and then Ada's gonna be surrounded and nobody's gonna be able to get to her. But even then, if Ada has the toad with the pendant on her, then Boruto can just get to her anyways. That shouldn't be a problem. Especially if the other Shinji are out at the time in Jura, or in Konoha anyways, then it's just Mamushi there. At that point, it doesn't even matter. And I still think Ada will be able to use her omnipotence if Mamushi just corners her like that, so... I don't know. I mean, what do you think? That's the only way I can imagine them somehow riding around it. Even that would be so dumb, though, because Damon shouldn't be able to allow that happen. Like, he didn't let Code do that, so... I don't know. This is weird. Then again, I guess Damon knew that Code couldn't attack Ada. So maybe if he thinks that Mamushi can't attack Ada because of the love charm.
Okay, there we go. You couldn't hear me.
I couldn't hear you.
I've been trying to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't mind that idea in general, but you do have to write it to where Jura's at the... You have to write it, first of all, Jura has to be at the home base. Yeah. Why Boruto's not going to go there, because if he does, then Jura's going to kill him, and Kochi doesn't want that, and Boruto doesn't want that. You'd have to do that, first of all. Second, whereas, yeah, Damon never let Code snatch Ada or anything. We have seen at least Code escape before Damon could kick him that time. So the ability to move through the claw marks before Damon kicks you, so far at least, is doable. So Mamushi doing that, he would have to just off guard sneak, grab Ada first, and then do it. But then you're gonna write yourself into a corner, because seemingly based up the freaking Rasendan scene, Code can't bring other people through the claw marks that quickly, even though he rips Damon out instantly against Kawaki. But he pushes Obito in slow motion, he brings Ada out in slow motion, and he brings Kawaki down in extra slow motion to give Boruto 30 minutes to do a Rasendan. So minus the Damon one, it's all been slow. Again, Damon's the odd one out where he freaking yanks him out, plops him in instantly. But to
be fair, really quick, in the Damon instance, because otherwise it would just be inconsistent. Damon obviously clearly wasn't trying there, and he's not mad because he missed because he was too slow to get to Code. He's more so just disappointed that Code left. So I don't think he was like going all out to try and speed blitz Code before he could get away. I think he was just like casually running towards Code because he's almost like in disbelief that Code is actually leaving.
I completely get that, but my point was just that at least we've had the scene, so like
if they were to do it again, it wouldn't be like a problem.
In this case, though, if Mamushi has Ada, either Mamushi just has to be way quicker with it, or Damon has to be injured or something.
Ability,
I know. I don't know. Because like I can't foresee Damon allowing that to happen. Because in that scenario, Damon would be forced to go all out, even if briefly, momentarily, for a singular second. Unless they're gonna retcon nerf Damon, it shouldn't matter.
I agree, but I mean, there's things they could do. They just write a distraction to where Mamushi has enough time to grab her and start leading before he's able to like see. There's things they could theoretically do. Obviously, you can do it in a very annoying way, but there's things they could do. So I'm not gonna write it off instantly as impossibly bad.
I guess
like,
technically,
I think it's doable. It's just it's a fine line.
You could also have Mamushi maybe give him a new ability to where he can like transform a claw grime into himself. So like the clone jutsu or the transformation jutsu or whatever you want to count it as, substitution jutsu, to where Damon thinks he's fighting Mamushi, but like Mamushi like drags him away, so he's just away from Ada. So he just defeats
I'm
the
down
wrong
for that
Mamushi.
because he's already doing the shape-shifting hand thing.
Yeah.
So why not just have shape-shifting?
Yeah, I see it almost like
Bug's ability. That
imagine
he couldn't really use, because like,
well, hypothetically, real quick, Bug probably wasn't a fighter, so let's just say he has the shape-shifting ability. He still wasn't strong. But with Mushi being strong, now that becomes a strong ability kind of thing. You could do something like that.
What I was thinking is both of Black Zetsu's feats in the war arc, to where he's fighting Chojuro, his bottom half gets away, or top, whatever you want to count it as. But so that gets away while Chojuro's sitting there with the other half. So you could do something like that. Or you could do it to where like Zetsu steals Kurama from Minato when Minato's trying to give his half to the unconscious, knocked out, Jinchuriki-less Naruto. And Zetsu just like randomly has this like back of his heel go into the ground and pop out right in the nick of time. You could just have something like that as well. Either way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things they could do there that would just work with his seeming shapeshift ability. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
It also makes him sneaky. You know, I think
for sure.
Give one of the Shinju some of that. You know?
I mean, Mamushi would be the Shinju to be sneaky from all the Shinju that we've seen. So.
Especially given his target and the obstacles he has, like he can't, as strong as he seems, he's the one who needs the most sneakiness to do anything. So
yeah, because again,
might as well just let him have it.
If we have Mamushi not be stronger than what he's been written to be, and we don't have Damon be weaker than what he's written to be, and then we have a singularity of faded Boruto Sarada, Sage Mode Mitsuki, Unlimited Kawaki. So we have what, a 6 or 7 V1 on this weak version of Mamushi? It's like, they can't do that. So.
Like, even Jura.
Exactly. Like at this point.
Yeah. So that's a really tricky one. I think I like the sneakiness idea the best. You just have to figure out like what that's going to specifically be to whether it's going to be annoying or not.
Yeah, I mean, Mamushi is going to get beat up regardless. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that'd be cool though. David beats him up, but Mamushi finds a way.
Yeah, but we will see. But with that,
since we're talking about Mamushi, I don't. Oh wait, were you going to go to something?
No, go ahead.
I don't know where I wrote this. I don't think we did this yet. If you did, then just let me know. Where is it? I wrote somewhere, can we find a way to explain / write this arc to be still going so it's not over yet? I don't know where I wrote this. Oh yeah. Is there any sensible way this arc can continue for a bit longer? Thinking narratively, thematically. Maybe that might be too long. Not much longer. Okay, let's do some of my funny quick ones that I posted.
Okay. Well, you did have one that started with "Can we?" That's actually at the very bottom here. Could be good to do now.
Okay. Okay, sure. We can end on this.
Okay.
Can we make a narrative argument for Jura letting Boruto be good / at least okay?
I mean,
Can we do it?
We can do anything. So this isn't a rewrite. This is the way the story is written. Can we make the narrative argument for it to be good?
Correct.
Narrative is tough. Plot-wise, I can stretch it by just repeating the nonsensical arguments people have told me. But narrative is crazy here.
Well, let's start with plot then.
Okay.
One that you have.
Well, Jura knew that Boruto was already locked on to the destination, so there's no point of trying to attack him. So bad.
So my problem with that one is that, first of all, Boruto turned around and walked away for at least a second. Like they literally like Kawaki's turn, flipping him up. Like first of all, they do that, but that's just a time for Jura to sniper shot off guard. Second, have a scene in Naruto. They're already doing the Jigen like parallel. Sasuke's Jigen's like Sasuke and leave the Hokage behind, and then attack Sasuke, knowing that Sasuke might leave, but he still does it before Sasuke instantly teleports away before he gets there. But Jigen still
try to get to it first.
Just do the same thing with Jura, to where Boruto's gonna leave, and then he goes for a sniper shot. He just goes for the attempt, and then Boruto beats him. Like, there's no reason why he can't just try.
And let's not list one scene with the Jigen and Sasuke example. Let's list every scene we can think of. So going all the way back to Konoha Crush, man, you remember when Gaara was trying to kill Sasuke, then Naruto came in at the last second and kicked Gaara out of the way? Man, imagine if Naruto just didn't do that since Gaara was already locked on. Just let Sasuke die. Yeah, man, you remember when Damon was fighting Code, and Code was starting to teleport away, and then Damon started running at him? You remember that?
Oh, wait, or when Code was teleporting away with Kawaki.
Yeah, like the 3 different instances. Yeah, the Rasendan. The like 3 different instances where that happens in the Code arc. Boruto stops him once, Borushiki stops him the second time. Someone stops him a third time. I don't even remember who, but it was definitely 3. So...
like they've done this so many times in this series.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Ugh. So it's just weird that people would even use this as an argument for plot wise.
The only way to do it is by making the narrative argument for Jura's character for basically. So there's 2 ways you can do it. The easier one is to say he just doesn't want to kill Boruto at all anymore, and we have to make the argument for why. The harder one, that's already hard enough, but the harder one is that we're going to try to narratively argue it's good on the following. He let Boruto go, but still wants to kill him. And it's good. How could we argue that?
So, okay, I have something. You're gonna laugh because it's meant to make you laugh. So this is actually tying back into Hashirama versus Madara. So this scene is actually a mirror. It parallels the Warring States era. Do you remember when the Senju and the Uchiha were fighting day in and day out, and they just like agreed at the end of every day to just like go back to their homes and then come back the next day to keep fighting? So I mean, Jura says to Boruto, "Oh, so I guess we're done for the day then, eh?" And so it's clearly what they were going for is that Jura's real person is actually Madara, and Boruto was just wrong when he said that it's nobody.
Yeah, especially since Jura's philosophy is very similar to the Blood Mist Village era shinobi philosophy. So they're going. That's what they're trying to
do. Yeah, and he's fighting against Boruto, who has what? The Will of Fire. Oh, but they're throwing us for a loop with this one. They're doing the perpendicularityness to where Jura's the one with the wood style, not Boruto. Ooh. Really got us there.
They're making him just like Gonzo. He's fighting the guy whose power lies in his eyes, Kawaki, like Sasuke.
So man, even Sasuke was willing to kill Karin just to take out Danzo. Like, even that's another instance for just proof of an example for Juro should have just tried to snipe Boruto anyways. He had nothing to lose. Sasuke did, and he still did it.
Because the thing is, it's like, he says in the previous arc, and again, in this arc, it's specifically Boruto's knowledge on the Thorn Souls and the Shinju in general. That's why he thinks he needs to die. He just knows too much. As well as the accomplice.
Mm-hmm.
He came there wanting to learn about love and asked Boruto about loves. So the love was on his mind.
Well, but he tried to kill Boruto before he even talked to him, so we can't use that.
Well, not only that, is he also says, regardless, I'm gonna kill you. Like, I just want to ask you this, but like, no matter what you say, I'm gonna kill you. And just want to ask anyway. So, no matter what Kawaki love things happen, Boruto still has the same information. Based on what he said, he should still want to kill Boruto. If he wants to do that, I understand he thinks he can do it at any time or whatever, but then he should just apply that 24/7. Why does he want to do it so desperately before? He should be equally as motivated. So he should try. Even if he knows it'll fail, he can still try. He's just as dangerous. Now, if he doesn't want to kill Boruto anymore because of something with the Kawaki conversation, okay. But I need them to not just explain, but emphasize that, like, make that the point. And make it reasonable. Because otherwise it's just nonsensical to just give up for no reason.
So, I think we were talking about this last time. I just don't remember if we did or not, or how much of it we covered. But Jura, as we know, he seemingly has this respect, moderation, or whatever you want to call it, for Boruto. Same with maybe Kawaki. Depends if we think that's from birth or not, or whether it's because it's something Boruto did, such as just be strong or have good Otsutsuki, I don't know, genetics or healing prowess or whatever Jura found in Boruto that he liked. Because remember when he...
strength and conviction, probably, because he didn't care about Kawaki before until he was strong.
So. Okay, so then do you think that it was like from birth instinct, like it's because he's Ten Tails, he just has respect for all Otsutsuki, or did he not care about Otsutsuki, or does he hate Otsutsuki? I think we were talking about this last time, and then it was going like from their very first meeting, did Jura have any thoughts on Boruto, or is it something that Boruto did in that first meeting, or versus Hidari, to where he started liking Boruto?
That's kind of where it's tricky, because
I don't know what instincts.
It's just the how very Otsutsuki of you line, which makes you think he has some expectation of Otsutsuki, but he doesn't seem to have too much of an opinion until Boruto versus Hidari chapter 12 and saving Himawari in chapter 11, stuff like that. That's like where he really seems to like Boruto.
Yeah, because up until that point, he's saying that he wants to devour an Otsutsuki, but he's holding himself back from his desire, so he does want to eat Boruto. He's just not doing it because he wants to go after this target first, but he is still saying to Boruto, like, oh, one of these days, I'm gonna find you, doesn't matter where you go, you can't run from me forever, Boruto. Saying that in, like, chapter 5 or whatever. Flash forward to chapter 13, and he's saying about how unfortunate it is that he has to kill Boruto, but he does because of this knowledge that he has, but he doesn't want to, but he has to, but he doesn't want to because he likes Boruto now. So it's very unfortunate that Boruto has to die at that point. So clearly he likes him then, but he still has to kill him because of knowledge. Man, how unfortunate is that? But he's still gonna do it. So I don't think that's changed between then and now. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, great. I don't feel like his opinion changed. I think he doesn't want to kill Boruto just as much,
if not more.
But should still have the equal need to kill Boruto mindset, because that never changed.
Yeah, like, exactly. If anything, the longer it goes on, the more
Boruto.
he probably should want to kill Boruto before he does something with the knowledge. Which I assume is the real reason he wants to kill him.
And it's not a matter of, oh, I guess it turns out I'm strong enough that it doesn't matter, because he already thought that. He just thought that knowledge was dangerous, and the fact that he thought that despite knowing he was way stronger. I mean, Frel, he knows he's stronger than Boruto and Kawaki combined now. It's literally amplifying how strong you think. Like,
Yeah, and last time he had already gotten Hidari's Soul Thorn back by the time he was going to kill Boruto. To be fair, he tried to kill him. He just missed the first time, but he still hit him. But like, Boruto at that point had no Soul Thorns. In the future, maybe he'll do something with the knowledge. But that's different from now to where Boruto's side, at least, actively has 2 of the Soul Thorns, and Jura hasn't got them back and seemingly can't right now. And so that's completely different. Exactly. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he should only need to do it more. He can want to do it less, but needs to do it more. So it should balance out. Like,
yeah. I mean, when do you think that Jura started having commoderation? I don't know if I'm using that word right, or if that even is a real word for Kawaki though, because at the end of the latest chapter, he's like, in chapter, what is it, 24? He's like, oh, Kawaki, he acknowledged me, Hidari. Isn't that so great that Kawaki did it? So clearly he likes Kawaki. Is that because Kawaki was strong in this latest chapter? Or is it, obviously it's because of what Kawaki told him, but does it matter to him, the context leading up to that? Or if Kawaki and Jura had that conversation back in like chapter like 9 or 10 or whatever, does Jura care just as much then? Or maybe it's because Kawaki killed Hidari? I don't know. What are they going for?
So, I don't know, because they haven't really done the best job with that. But from the way it feels, he didn't really seem to care about Kawaki at all before then. So I think he only started to care because Kawaki got that power up, which Jura attributes to love. He doesn't have a reason to, he's just assuming, but he is doing that. And then he sees Kawaki is really strong. And I think the combination of those two is just made him like/respect him more. So then when that guy compliments, he didn't even know he did compliment him, but when he compliments him, he just can't. It's really,
I don't know. If Sarada did it, would he freak out? If Himawari did it, would he freak out? Is it just because they're Otsutsuki, or just because they're strong, or because of love, or their conviction, or specifically their transformation, quote unquote? Like, what is it? And let's keep in mind, it doesn't make sense. If anything, it makes the opposite of sense for Jura in this latest chapter to be thinking that Kawaki's transformation is out of love when he's associating it to Himawari's transformation, which he associates that to Inojin, who died because of love, because it's a bad thing. Fatal flaw of humanity. So it's a bad thing there, but it's a good thing here when he's associating them together.
There's also the Sarda situation. Yodo dies, Boruto with a sword. Kawaki's just showed up out of nowhere stronger. Like, he's just assuming randomly.
So to be fair, not to be fair, okay, I'm not going to say to be fair, and I'll just say that before you cut me off with this, but he showed up in base before going into the Karma, but Jura had already commented on his power before going to the Karma, so...
Yeah.
He just showed up stronger out of nowhere. It's not like Jura would know.
I don't know why he is... Again, I know I didn't write it in there. It's in the review that I really need to finish now, but finish the recording for, that is. But I did do a small rewrite for that to make not only just make that scene more impactful, I think, but also just to give Jura a legitimate reason to attribute, at least more of a reason to attribute it to love, or at least not necessarily what the original power up to love, but something to love anyway. I give him something that makes sense. But I'll go over it once I actually finish the video, and then I'll just recap it. But this should be the last topic, because I'll do one more.
Okay.
Just because we're talking about Jura,
Well, if you say so.
Where the hell is it?
Oh, well, I'm guessing it's from Kamui and it uses the word Jura.
Uses the word Naruto. Okay, do search as excited as I am about Jura.
Yes.
Okay. Let's just alternate little by little because I'm trying to multitask.
Oh god, wait, this is a long one. Are you sure? Alright, let's do it quick. We'll do it quick.
I don't think we'll have to. I think you'll just probably agree.
Okay.
So we'll just take turns every couple of seconds. As excited as I am about Jura stating he wants to devour Naruto still, I feel like, at least in the case of Jura, all stakes have been removed from a certain perspective. Yes, he wants to devour Naruto, which means Naruto is in danger. I get that. But Jura also said he wanted to devour Himawari and that he wanted to kill Boruto. And look what keeps happening. Rebel back out of doing so for literally no reason at all. The case of this chapter. If anyone else shows up, he's just going to drop devouring Naruto, no matter the context. Why should I believe he will actually go through with devouring Naruto? Maybe it's because Jura doesn't really want to kill Boruto or devour Himawari, whereas he does for Naruto since he's curious about Boruto and Himawari. Himawari is a tougher argument for that, but let's just go with it. What's to stop him from becoming curious about Naruto as soon as he meets them? Let's be real. Of all targets, Naruto just is the one who would intrigue him the most. He had the most to say. Naruto has the most to say about love, the most varied love interactions with people and animals, is an interesting and goofy guy who will probably try to talk no jutsu Jura, which would make Jura curious, and so on. Why won't he back out of devouring Naruto? I'll let you finish this.
So, really quick, I'll address that. Jura is somebody who will change what he wants to do at the slightest notion that he wants to do something new or else or whatever. But at the same time, Jura is somebody who's willing to do things that they don't want to do. He'll try and get himself out of it if possible. He warned Team Ino Shikacho, but he did indeed try and kill Inoji. He also did try and devour Himawari, but like, just only once and barely. But like, if anyone tries to stop him, I'm sure he'll just instantly divert his attention to that. But like, let's just say he doesn't want to devour Naruto, but he does. Then I think he will do it as long as nobody gets in his way.
That's the thing.
Which somebody
There
will.
has to be literally not a single person show up.
And somebody will. Yeah. It's the problem. Like, even if we don't want to say whatever for in-universe, Ikimoto's not going to write it to where nobody shows up. So that's definitely not going to happen. Somebody will show up, so Juro will divert his attention. Doesn't matter who it is.
And then, so, why isn't he going to back out? And I'm not saying he will. I'll let you read about it. I'm not saying he will. It's just, why isn't he consistency-wise? Go ahead and read the rest.
I'm not saying he will back out or that the stakes are entirely removed, but it's just hard to believe it'll even happen given everything Jura has backed out of so far. And unlike Haku, shout out Haku, I was just watching that episode the other day, by the way, they're not presenting it in a way to where we think he tried, but then it's revealed he never wanted to in the first place. He's just not trying to begin with. I don't need the flash forward scene to know Juro won't kill Boruto. No matter what Koji says, I know Jura's just gonna not do it no matter what, no matter how ridiculous the reason will be. So, yes. I feel like I had
the concern. It's like, I'm so happy that he said, oh, he wants to devour Naruto still, but like, does that even... When he said it in chapter 5, that meant something different to me than it does now.
Okay, that's the funniest way you could have worded that. So, it's still possible but it's not. Based on the flash forward scene, it wouldn't make any sense for Kawaki to say what he does if Juro devours Naruto. It does make sense,
Exactly.
but they're not going to do that. And if they do, then we're dropping two Blue Vortex. Possibly unironically.
Yeah, like, realistically, Joaquin's either gonna do Naruto's just still gonna be where he is, or Kawaki will do a second thing to Naruto, whatever that it might be the same thing again, might be something different, but like it's if Kawaki's gonna say his thing, he's gonna do the thing. You know?
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna put it past Ikimoto. Juro could devour Naruto, and then Kawaki could later on go on to say to Boruto, I'm gonna send you to the same place I sent Lord Seventh, because in the past he had sent Naruto to Daikokuten. I can't imagine Ikimoto writing that.
I will give you that. That wouldn't necessarily be wrong.
But it's so wrong on so many levels. That's the problem.
Not to mention, why is Kawaki trying to send him to Daikokuten instead of killing him? We agreed that it'd be nice if he could do that, but he's not doing it because it doesn't work. But why is he just now trying it again?
Yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, that applies either way. To where is he really trying to send him to Daikokuten? I mean, when I first saw the scene, first of all, it just doesn't make sense either way, because he tries it very first thing at the end of part 1 when he fights Boruto, or before he fights Boruto. Here he's saying that, and then going into fighting Boruto, instead of trying to put him in Daikokuten. You could say he's going to defeat Boruto first, and then put him in Daikokuten, but at that point, why not just kill him? Like, it's so weird the way they're doing it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
That's because, for obvious reasons, Karachi/Kishimoto probably didn't write the Daikokuten scene when they had that in mind.
Yeah.
They probably either wrote Naruto's dead or vague thing they don't know yet and we'll come back to.
I agree.
But it wasn't anything specific.
Yeah, I think they didn't know, but I think they had in their mind probably dead. They just changed their minds or defined what they meant by it later on. I think that was like, I think that's what they were going for, at the very least.
At least that's what they want the audience to think.
Exactly, like the fact that, Kawaki's trying to kill Boruto in the flash forward scene. Going at him with the staff. So unless Kawaki's going to infuse Daikokuten with the staff, like he did the explosives to blow up Jura, I don't see how that's going to work. That'd be very cool, though.
Shout out to Kawaki for being creative with his rods. Like I'll give the man his praise. Like.
Yes. Completely agree. Well, with that being said, I suppose if it's time.
Yeah. It is.
Okay, well, Kamui, I learned a new word today.
Oh, dude. That's just major ick.
Emoto failed! I feel like we butchered that somehow, but I don't remember how it actually goes.
Yeah, I don't know either. Well, what we really need to do is start it with the Higari thing, and then do the Icky Vicky song, but with Ikimoto.
Yes.
Especially in light of this chapter.
I know. We'll figure it out.